It's happening again.
And they started lifting. And she got up there, and she got it up to here, and it was going, and they were screaming. They were screaming. They're so proud of her. Couldn't quite make it, but you'll make it the next time. And then a guy comes along, named Jill. Now, a guy comes along, and he goes, looks down. Then I think for a little enjoyment, he went.
When a presidential candidate does this. Over.
The left-wing gender insanity being pushed on our children is an act of child abuse. Very simple. Here's my plan to stop the chemical, physical, and emotional mutilation of our youth.
And over.
Critical race theory, transgender insanity, and other inappropriate racial, sexual, or political content on our children. It's amazing how strongly people feel about that. You see, I'm talking about cutting taxes. People go like that. Talk about transgender. Everyone goes crazy. Who would have thought 5 years ago you didn't know what the hell it was? But
I mean, there's so much truth here in this.
And over again.
After consultation with my generals and military experts, please be advised that the United States government will not accept or allow transgender individuals to serve in any capacity in the U.S. military. Our military must be focused on decisive and overwhelming victory and cannot be burdened with the tremendous medical costs and disruption that transgender in the military would entail.
It has devastating effects.
What about the debate over pronouns that we hear about?
I'm going to be 80 years old tomorrow.
Happy birthday.
Thanks. And what does it mean? I have never seen anything like this in my 80 years. I've seen a lot since the 1940s when I was born. And this is the worst.
Not just on voters.
Transgenderism must be eradicated.
The girls who want to be basketball players, swimmers, tennis players, et cetera, et cetera. You know, if we keep going down this road where Title IX will take us, one day there is going to be a very average NBA male basketball player who's 27 years old, who's 6'8", 250, but he's no good for an NBA player. And he's going to suddenly say that he wants to be in the WNBA, and he's going to change his name and grow out his hair. And the WNBA and Jill Biden and all the feminists are going to go, okay, and he's going to be dunking over women.
Not just on the media.
Mississippi is poised to ban transgender athletes from competing in women's sports in schools and universities. The state legislature passed the so-called Mississippi Fairness Act earlier this week. Last night, the Republican governor, Tate Reeves, tweeted that he would sign the bill, writing, and I quote, "It's crazy we have to address this." Mississippi isn't the only state debating this issue. Idaho passed a bill banning transgender women from competing in women's sports last year, but a federal district court has suspended the law, and it's yet to be enacted. Across our nation, at least 26 states have now introduced similar bills, mostly in Republican-controlled state legislatures.
But in the form of laws, even if those doing the bidding get exposed.
How many girls in Georgia have been denied opportunity because of transgender athletes participating in sports?
Yeah. So obviously there's not a lot of statistics on that.
So there are none in Georgia?
Again, I don't have any hard data on that.
Will you cite any examples where a young woman was denied a scholarship opportunity or a title here in Arizona, not outside of Arizona, not anecdotally in another state, but here specifically in Arizona, because they were competing against a trans athlete who outperformed them?
I can't at this point, Mr. Chairman.
Which brings us to this.
From the Post Millennial, Boise State women's volleyball team forfeits match over trans competitor Blaire Fleming. San Jose State University women's volleyball team has been undefeated this season with a team record sitting at 10-0.
No word if Tim was told to say this on behalf of Russia. San Jose State does have a volleyball player named Blaire Fleming, who is a redshirt senior. It's her third year at the school, for those keeping score. Prior to San Jose State, she played at Coastal Carolina, where she was not even the best offensive player on her squad. Prior to that, she played in high school on the girls' volleyball team. This all became public information because of the team's co-captain, Brooke Slusser. She joined this person's lawsuit.
Obviously, we live in this kind of cancel culture. It doesn't make sense. You have to ask yourself, why do they keep pushing this? Who are they trying to appeal to? Because despite what the media portrays or how politicians are voting, this doesn't represent the overwhelming majority of how this country, really how the world, feels on this issue. I think majority of people, parents especially, they can acknowledge that gay nutcracker and black disabled Santa has gone way too far. The pendulum has swung.
The pendulum has swung too far.
Bars transgender women from competing in women's chess events. What do you make of that? Not an athletic sport, it's a mental sport. I mean, all sports are mental to some extent, but what do you make of that?
I think it's really interesting because we have sports such as powerlifting, which is, of course, sheerly based on strength, who aren't even taking this much precaution. And so I applaud the Chess Association. You hear the argument about brain size and brain ability if it differs between male and female. But I think that's missing the point. The point is that the women's category is meant for women, and having men compete in it is still taking spots away from women.
Riley Gaines, a fifth-place finisher who has made it her life's duty to crush trans people. Because
now, in most cases, and according to NCAA rules, the trophy goes to whoever is older. Leah was born in 1999 and Riley was born in 2000. On top of that, if they were going by lane order, Leah would still get the trophy. I also want to add that this story happened almost exactly a year ago, and both Riley and Leah have graduated and no longer swim in NCAA.
Leah Thomas got a trophy before her because of an NCAA rule going by the alphabet.
Just to make it clear, she sat on the sidelines because she was not competing in this event. Katie Ledecky holds the record in this event with a time of 4:24.06. In this competition, Leah won with a time of 4:33.24. That is almost 10 seconds slower than Katie. She made it sound like Leah set the fastest time in the whole entire world. In this meet, there were also 27 records broken, and Leah had none of them.
So look, her stardom has obviously rose, and it mainly comes because she loves crushing the disenfranchised. Fast forward to present day. Gaines filed a suit against San Jose State claiming the NCAA's transgender eligibility policies violate Title IX and the 14th Amendment's Equal Protection Clause, a notable name. And Face joined the suit, of course, Brooke Slusser, Fleming's teammate. Quite some leadership. Slusser claims Fleming can spike a ball 80 miles an hour. That's in the suit. Currently, the women's record is 70 miles per hour, while the fastest spike for a man is 84 miles per hour. It is and remains unclear if Slusser ever used a radar gun or any device that could measure Fleming's hardest spike. When news got out, teams started canceling their matches, like Southern Utah on September 14th, then Boise State on September 28th. They would follow suit. In their statement released to the public, they did not mention a trans player being the reason for the cancellation, likely because if they did, they could potentially be served a lawsuit. However, it is quite obvious that that is the reason, especially when the state's governor, Brad Little, wrote on Twitter, "I applaud Boise State for working within the spirit of my executive order, the Defending Women's Sports Act. We need to ensure player safety for all of our female athletes and continue the fight for fairness in women's sports."
Last year, Boise State beat them not once, but twice.
The University of Wyoming did the same.
Same goes for Wyoming. This was the first, and this was the second.
Once again, a statement released by the school did not mention Fleming, but as we know, if they did mention Fleming, they could be sued for backing out, of course. There is little gray area. This is a rinse, wash, repeat. As Governor Mark Gordon went on the record tweeting, "I am in full support of the decision by Wyoming Athletics to forego playing its volleyball match against San Jose State. It is important we stand for integrity and fairness in female athletics." Now let's pump the brakes here. The records would show Wyoming competed against Fleming and San Jose State 2 times. So the reversal is quite an act, with many arguing it is done in bad faith. What's noteworthy is when Fleming competed, she came second to a teammate in total kills. San Jose State lost to Wyoming as well. Then there's Utah State. They took no time in canceling their October 28th match against the San Jose State Spartans. And this time it appears they would be citing Fleming. Overall, this team has not been great in San Jose State. They went 13-18 last year. The Spartans are yet to make the NCAA tournament with this group and many others in years past. The last time they made the tournament, 2001. They have gotten off to a good start, 9-0, though many of those wins have come via cancellation. And in addition, they just lost their last match in Fort Collins against Colorado State. Should be noted, Colorado State on Twitter, when announcing their dub over San Jose State, had to turn off replies, which tells a lot about where we are, not only on this issue, but also where Twitter is as well. Slusser said it was easy to join the suit and continues stating that Fleming is male, in essence denying that trans women are women. She is peeved the school did not tell her that Fleming was trans because they would room together on road trips. This would track with Gaines, of course, a bigot who continually dead names people and refers to trans women as he or him. So it goes to show they do know pronouns. This can easily be found on page 155 of the lawsuit, where Brooke Slusser, again, put in a leadership position on this team, claims Fleming requested to room with her, though this still remains unclear. Now, let me just say, she is from Denton, Texas. Denton County did vote in a wide majority for Donald Trump. We do not know where she aligns on the political spectrum, but we know where she aligns with this. She came from Alabama. She transferred to San Jose State. And she is very upset because clearly she believes that Blaire Fleming is a man. She also said this about rooming with Fleming, and these are all allegations where she claims that Fleming requested to room with her. This was brought up in a few TikTok videos, and I just want to say, if a trans person who every time they step out of their house, of their apartment, or even log on, they are a target. So if someone, and I'm just going to make a judgment here, if someone who is completely disenfranchised, marginalized, treated as the lesser, to many people, they think you should not exist as a person on the face of this earth, is comfortable enough to realize that they feel safe in your presence, it should speak to your character. It should speak volumes to who you are as a person if they request to be in your presence and share the same roof as you. That should say a lot. It just should. And the fact that Slusser can't see that really goes to show me, and I understand that she's in college. There will be a lot of growth over the years, of course. It shows that she has not reached that maturity level yet to understand and comprehend this, because it is vital. Vital. Furthermore, ironically, when Fleming saw the news come out, called a lunch with teammates, and decided to come out to them, Slusser, the co-captain, said she did not want Fleming to be bullied, but also she was uncomfortable with her on the team, which, whether she sees it or not, is a form of bullying at her own behest. And yet, it's very clear that she still doesn't see it.
Blaire has never harmed, nor is she doing harm to absolutely anyone. I'm confident in saying that if people had an issue with the way she was playing or even wanted to question her sex, then that would have been dealt with in the 3 previous years of her college career. I absolutely hate that she's being used to push an agenda and as an avenue for transphobia. San Jose State has done a great job at protecting Blaire and from what I can see navigating the situation. But above all, Blaire is a woman. She deserves to live a normal life and play the sport that she loves, as she has been doing without issue for a number of years before she was outed. With how this has all unfolded, it's very clear that there's no need to protect or save women's sports. Rather, this wasn't even about sports in the first place.
If you can and are willing, please become a paid member here at TYT Sports. And or go to tyt.com/join. In addition, you can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Appreciate it. Have a great day.